I am your host, Fat Dag. You're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Twitter at Wise Advice. Send me your comments, your questions, and your celebrations, all to be included as part of the show. Before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello there. I want to reemphasize that one line. I believe in you. Man, that's the crux of this program is I believe in you, and you got to believe in you because you can do this. This is difficult work. This is hard work. And if you stay focused on what you're trying to do, it can be done. And what you need to know is I believe you can do it. The whole world believes you can do it. And when you believe you can do it, you get it done. So I want to open up with fitness here. We want to talk about one of the key components to what we're doing here is a fitness aspect. And from a fitness standpoint, you don't have to go out and kill it. All you got to do is do something. And it's real simple. And I want to open up the show. Colleen out of Glassboro, New Jersey writes in and says, how did you decide what your workout plan was going to be? Did you talk to a trainer? Did you read books? Did you read magazines? Or did you just wing it? What's your favorite workout? Well, Colleen, I tell you, I still haven't really decided what my workout's going to be. So I'm absolutely winging it, and I do have a strength coach. I have a training coach that I use for my strength training. For a little while, I was using a running coach and got some running plans from him. Digging every once in a while, I'll reach back in there, but for the most part, I do what I feel like I need to do on the days that I feel like I need to do it. So I have a consistency with my strength trainer. I do have a weekly appointment with him. I check in there. But I didn't employ him in that sense until I got down closer to my goal weight. Strength training is important. I believe everyone needs to add some sort of strength training in. It helps build muscle, and muscle speeds up your metabolism a little bit and helps that weight loss, and it looks better on us than fat does. So I'm very glad to have a strength coach. But as far as reading books and magazines, I'm not a fitness buff. I'm not that guy that's going to spend 8 hours a day in the gym and researching every single opportunity, and that's just not what I do. There are people who do that, and those people are very successful. What I found is you have to find what works for you. So if you've gone your entire life of not being a gym person, you can't flip the switch overnight and go, okay, it's now time to go to the gym, and I'm going to love running, and I'm going to love lifting weights. And if that's not part of your personality already, it's going to be difficult to maintain that for a long term. So you got to ease into it. You've got to start slow. And you've got to slowly build up so that as you're building up, you're craving what it is you're doing, and it becomes a natural transition. And this is a perfect example of why I firmly believe that as we set attendance goals and not performance goals, we can get there. So with the attendance mindset, you continue to get it done, and that attendance daily and consistently builds the new habit. And so now, I run periodically, and there are weeks where I'll run 3 or 4 times a week, and there's weeks I don't run at all. And so the weeks that I don't run at all, I do miss it, and I do crave a good run, so I get back out and get there. And, today was a great example. Went out and busted out 2.5 miles just because I wanted to. No other reason other than I just wanted to go for a run. So you can do that. It's just a matter of figuring out what works for you and sticking with it. So Colleen, thanks for the email there. And, I want to dive into the fitness topic a little more because I don't believe that's how we get this job done, but I believe it plays a huge part in our mindset. So I'm interested to see what you're doing and how you're working the fitness aspect. So go ahead and email in on air at fatdag.com. Click on the website, fatdag.com. Click on Contact Me. Send me your fitness-related questions and or comments and celebrations. I'm real curious to see that side of this journey because I just want to see what we're doing on that side. So next up, I want to write in. Let's see. It says, "Dear Mike, thank you for your service to our country. Very cool. Thank you. I love listening to your podcast and following you on Connect. It's helped me to get to the gym. Attendance goals, just what we talked about. I've struggled with emotional eating pretty much my whole life, and I'm trying to learn how to eat mindfully. do you have any tips for how to tell the difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger? So AM History Girl is the username on Connect, and I'll put that in the show notes. But so she writes in with that question, and so the difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger, and man, that is the $1,000,000 question, right? So there are times for much of my life where I eat or used to eat purely out of habit, purely out of routine, or that emotional stress. And the emotional stress still gets the better of me on occasion, but I recognize the difference. And one of the things that I think is important, I've been completely amazed when I stay on plan, I stay true to the plan, and I follow the plan, at how little food I can eat throughout the course of the day and stay satisfied. And still, I'm still getting a good healthy plate. I'm still getting plenty of food, but what it taught me was, man, was I overeating a ton more than I needed to. So the amount of food that I actually need a day is significantly less than what I used to have. So it's important to recognize the difference between an emotional hunger and a physical hunger, because the physical hunger is probably a lot smaller than what we need, what we're currently feeding it with the emotional side. So one of the things I've read on Connect, and it helped me, is what I've some people say is the green bean test or the apple test. And if you're coming up on a hunger signal and you feel like you're hungry, and you won't go grab an apple, and you won't go grab a banana, and you won't go grab a can of green beans and cook them up, then you're not hungry. You're bored, or you have an emotional trigger that's causing you to think that you're hungry. So it's that craving that we got to contain. And you think about folks who are legitimately in need of food. They're at a point in their life where if you offered them a can of green beans, that's going to be the best meal they've had all week, and they're going to take it. So you got to employ that same mindset. Am I eating because I'm actually hungry, or am I eating because I had this emotional trigger? And and if you won't go grab an apple, think about that. It's probably you're eating out of an emotional state. This is where tracking comes in key. If you can look back into your tracker and you can recognize days, and if you tracked everything, you can recognize days where you did really well, and you can recognize days where you didn't do so well. And you look at the days you didn't do so well, and you look at what's in those days, and you'll start seeing that pattern. You'll start seeing some things creep up. And so if you start seeing that, a couple times a week, this certain food item pops up, and it doesn't pop up other days, and you recognize that's against an emotional standpoint, then you label that food as an emotional food. And then you say to yourself, every time you get that craving for that, that causes you to react and go, wait a minute, every time I have this recently, it's because of an emotional event. Am I eating emotionally right now, or am I legitimately eating it out of hunger? If you choose it, if you make the conscious choice and you make the deliberate effort of, this is what I want to eat, go ahead and enjoy it, track it, write it down, and move on. But if it's choosing you've got to refocus, to retap your energy and go get it done. So thanks for the question there. It's a huge battle for us to consider the difference between a physical hunger and emotional hunger. And I know you can get there. I know you can conquer it. So just go ahead and start being mindful of what it is you're doing. Focus on your why. Have the discipline to stick with it, and you'll get there. So great job there. Next email I got, Susan writes in, and she says, hello, Fat Dag. I'm a lifetime member who has gained 16 pounds due to excuses. I just listened to your podcast. You are inspiring. Keep it up. I used to be a leader, and I felt great. It kept me on track and positive. I'm retired from work, and I'm in a new town. I'm an online member only and steadily losing. I'm down 10 pounds since January. I'd like to speed up. However, I know that slow is better. I don't believe I was eating enough and eating the same thing each week. I'm trying to mix it up, and I will see how it goes with mixing it up and eating all of my weeklies. I am active, but not exercising right now. Any suggestions? I have 6 pounds to go. I can't imagine it will take 2 months, but it's a journey, a lifetime one. Well, Susan, first off, I love that you owned it, and so the fact that you've gained 16 pounds due to quote unquote excuses, as you said, is the first step. A lot of what we do is when we gain weight, it's that complacency. And so when you got down to your lifetime goal, you felt great, right? And you looked good and you were at your lifetime weight. And chances are we slacked off on the tracker, and then we crept up 16 pounds. And so one of the things we've got to do, and this is for all the lifetime members out there, is you've got to set some goals and some traps, I should say. And so what happens is for me, I have a number on the scale. When I see that number, red flags go off. And I step on the scale just about daily, and my scale is connected to the internet. It posts every day on Twitter. It posts every day on Facebook. It posts on fatdag.com. So you can see every day when I weigh in. And so the other thing it does is I have a setup in there is there's a number there. And I think I have it set for 189. I'm pretty sure that's where I set it. If I get on the scale and the scale says 189, automatically an email is sent to my accountability team. And that email says something to the effect of, "Dear team, Mike's not tracking." It's that simple. Get on him. And so that's something I had to do to say, there's going to be days where I'm going to struggle. And I need to employ the help of an accountability team. And so you've done that to an extent. You're backtracking online, but you've gotten that complacency trap and you let the 16 pounds creep up on you. You have the ability to get it off. The beautiful thing of what you're doing is that you reach lifetime. You don't reach lifetime by accident. So you already know two things. You know the program works, and more importantly, you know the program works for you. So if you want to be lifetime, and you know it works, and you know it works for you, then just do it. Focus on it and get it done. So there are no excuses, and you said it, and I love that you owned it. But if you're not where you want to be, and you know it works, and you know it works for you, then we just got to tap it in. So when you get there, I want you to really focus on how good it feels to be at that goal weight. Because you said it's a journey, it's not a lifetime. Throw out the timeline. Quit. Don't set yourself for I have to lose this much weight in this amount of time. Because what happens in those scenarios is if you miss it by a pound or two, if you miss it by a day or two, you feel have this defeated mindset, and you don't want to have that. If you truly believe this is a journey for a lifetime, does it matter what the progress pace is? The trend line matters, the direction matters. And if you're working the plan properly and you know it works and you're going to get it done, that trend line works in the right direction. So you have the ability to get it done. So I'm proud of you for knocking it out. So folks, what are you celebrating? And I want to talk about some celebrations, because as we celebrate here together, it's important that we celebrate together. It's important we recognize the hard work. It does a couple things. It reinforces in your mind your milestones that you've come. But two, for others who are listening, is it shows them that what we're doing is possible. And so having that little bit of hope, hearing from other people who've done the things that we've done and done the things that they're now hoping that they can do, man, that's powerful. So go to fatdag.com, click on podcast, send in your celebrations, send in your comments. I'll work them all into the show. You can tweet out on Twitter at Wise Advice, and if you prefer, you can call in, leave me a voicemail. We've talked about that before. Be as clear and concise, but the number 317-662-4214. Go ahead and do that. If you got a moment, the ranking in iTunes, it looks like we're climbing up that chart there. I'm very proud to say that, and the fact that you're tuning in does that. But a simple review in iTunes, I'd appreciate that if you have the moment. And let's get it done. So remember your focus goals and your fitness goals. Get those sent in, and we'll see what they look like. But that's going to do it for this time. And remember that losing weight, getting healthy, has absolutely nothing to do with luck. You got to remain disciplined. You got to remain focused. Set your sights on your goals and go after it. I wish you good focus.